sort of thinking in January, and obviously met with Steve McNamara, and we had a long chat, and I thought now would be the right time to retire if we beat the Exiles, and that's happened, and obviously I've gone on and gone through their plans and retired.
Talk us through your decision-making process. What did you take into consideration? Because obviously, for yourself, it must have been a pretty tough decision.
Yeah, it's a huge decision. For me, it's the biggest honour in the game. It's captaining your country, and it's one I enjoy doing every time. I think just going through the Four Nations, there were some things in my game, which I didn't like, and I felt that to be a captain, you need to be one of the best players in the team, really. And I think as I was getting older, that was becoming more difficult to do. And one of the things which probably made the decision easier was the amount of young talent coming through at the moment. And I felt, England was in safe hands, and I thought, maybe I could be more of a hindrance for the 2013 World Cup playing rather than helping them out. So I thought now would be the right time to do it.
When do you think this decision will kind of finally sink in for you, or has it already had time to do that? Because you led your country out for the last time in an 18-10 victory against the Exiles. Yeah,
I think because I've had time to do it, and it's not been a spur of the moment decision, it's always been in the back of my mind since January. So it'll settle in, and obviously it'll be difficult watching the games to start with, but it's time to move on. I think that's what happens when you're near retirement. The teams that you stop having to play in, and that's just one of the natural progressions.
To many people, I guess, throughout your career with England, you've kind of been Mr. England Rugby League. You've kind of fought a few off-the-pitch battles on behalf of your country. Has that been a big struggle for yourself? That you've kind of had to step in, and your role as captain has kind of almost gone beyond on the pitch.
I think it's just that I'm very passionate about England and Great Britain at the time, and England, and that boils over off the pitch as well. And I think I've always wanted to stand up for the values and traditions of English Rugby League and British Rugby League. So I'll always try to stand up for these kind of things and those kind of values.
You touched upon it there, that the fact that we've got such a young spine coming through with Ryan Hall, Sam Tompkins, there's Tom Briscoe in there as well, Rangi Chase perhaps. Did that make your decision any easier, knowing that there's so much great talent, chomping at the bit, and even in the England Knights too?
Yeah, for sure. I think the performances of some of the players in last year's Four Nations, really for me, showed that we have a chance of winning the World Cup. A lot of these young players stepped up from being Super League players for me to become international players, and I think that obviously makes any decision easier. And obviously we have some more depth and in quality within the front row now. I think you just have to look at likes of Lee Mossop and the way he played, and I'd be very pleased if he wore the shirt and played as well as I did for England. I think he's more than capable of doing that.
And back in March, you were, when you signed a new 2-year deal for the Rhinos, you were quoted as saying your kind of hunger and desire to succeed was as strong as ever. Was that not the case when it came to the World Cup? That must have been incredibly tough, because the World Cup is kind of on home soil, would have been momentous for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been. It'd have been huge. It was a huge carrot wanting to play for England in the World Cup, to captain them. There's a real feeling, I think, in this country that it's going to be a lot better than the one in 2000, where I made my debut, and it would have seemed like a natural progression to end it there. But for me, that would have been a selfish way to do it. I think I'd have loved to have finished on 50 caps and got above 50 caps, but I don't think that would have been the right thing to do for England. I think the right thing to do for England was to play in this Exiles game, hopefully beat them, which we've done, and then retire. I think England can do a job without me in the World Cup.
Obviously, this decision has not been taken lightly by yourself. I remember it's only a few months, back in the autumn when we were just preparing to face Australia in the Four Nations final. I remember how passionately you kind of spoke that you've won every honour in the game, and you'd almost swap all those to win something with England. I guess it just wasn't to be, was it, for you and this England side?
No, it wasn't. I think I'm the same as most of the captains since 1972, that you'll leave the job with a sense of frustration, but I've every confidence, and I'm not just saying this, I won't just say it, I've every confidence that this group can go, that we've got at present, can go on and win in the World Cup on home soil. I think it makes a huge difference for us playing at home, and some of these young players have got a lot of confidence. But yeah, there is a sense of frustration. It'd have been beautiful to end winning the World Cup. But that's just not to be. But you know, you can't wish for things that you can't have.
What gives you that confidence that England can go on and win the World Cup? Is it what you've seen from the inside out, or is it just the strength of the domestic competition in which you all play? What gives you so much hope for the World?
There's a number of factors really. I think we always do well against Australia and New Zealand when we've got players playing in the NRL, and with several doing that at the moment. I think some of the British talent coming through here is amazing really, and I think we've got to the point now where our bench, when we play international rugby, probably comes on and strengthens us rather than weakens us, and that's maybe been a case for the teams I played in over the last few years. There have been very few teams really where we've come on and the bench has kept up the intensity, and I think there's a depth in squad to allow Steve to do that, and everyone needs to be fit. You know, we need everyone to be fit and playing, but I think there's more than enough good players to go on and win that.
12 years in the international fold, in its kind of various forms. What does it mean to you, or what did it mean to you to pull on that red and white jersey? Because it's a question that's often asked, but few players answer it kind of as articulately as yourself.
I think no pressure on me now. I think it's. I always viewed it. I've said it before as the biggest honour in the game, to represent your country, but then to go on the captain and is a step up again from that. And I always wanted to play with passion, commitment, and honesty when I played with England, and hopefully that spread throughout the team. And I think the style that your captain takes can influence the other players within the team. And I've always wanted to do my best for England. I always wanted to rise to the challenge, and I've been very proud to play for England as well.
Has it changed much in 12 years, the international setup? Has it come on? Has it improved, and in what way?
I think it has changed. Yeah, I think it's taken more seriously. I think I've been very fortunate to be involved with some great coaches all the way through in my international career, and I think I came in just at the change with David Waite coming in, and that was a great period as well. And then Brian Noble, Tony Smith, and now Steve McNamara, and they all seem to be building on what the predecessors have done. And I think Steve McNamara has taken it up to another level again, really, with the ETS and the fact that it's full time. I think it's it's England are going to reap the benefits.
Will we still see Jamie Peacock in Super League for a few years to come?
Yeah, I've got 2 years left on my contract. I fully intend to see that out. So you'll see me running around with my silver hair for Leeds Rhinos for a bit to come yet.
And rolling back all those years, obviously, all those years ago when you made your debut against Russia, do you remember that day?
Yeah, I do. I remember it very well. I was obviously. It was the beginning of the tournament, really. We played America, and I knew I had to play well to try get in the team. I thought I'd done enough, and I didn't get picked for the Australian game at Twickenham where they got beaten. And I was a bit gutted not to be in there. Then John Keir said you're going to play against Russia, so I was obviously nervous. Wanted to make my debut for England, didn't know what they was like, and then obviously it just went really well. I managed to score a couple of tries, and then I made a break. I think in the second half, and Paul Wellens was on the inside, and I think some of the Saints fans thought I went to try pass, but the ball got stuck in my arm and I got tackled. I think some of the Saints fans were thinking I'd been a bit greedy going for the hat-trick, but I was trying to pass to Weller, and then I got booed then, so I thought, wow, this is great, I'm playing for England, I'm getting booed now, but it seems some things haven't changed. 12 years on, we're still getting England players booed at St Helens.
You must have some incredible memories of being involved at international fold. What are the highlights? What are the lowlights?
Yeah, there's some really. I'll start with the lowlight first. The lowlight probably was the game in Sydney in 2002 when we got hammered 62-12, and obviously I was a bit. I'd only been in the international setup a couple of years and didn't really know what the Sydney media were like, and they almost said it was the death of international rugby league, and I thought I've been involved in the death of the international game. I was upset about that, and then I suppose probably the 2003 series when we got beat in the last 5 minutes of every game, where we probably could have gone on and won the Ashes. But then the highlights for me would have obviously been 2001 when I made my debut for Great Britain and I scored, and we went on to beat the Australians. That was a fantastic feeling. That was an amazing. And then I suppose the 2007 series, which captained against New Zealand, which we won 3-0, that was also special as well. And then there's two different ones really. I think 2006 from a personal point of view, to captain Great Britain to beat the Australians in Sydney was an amazing feeling, and not many people have done that. I know lots of people have won grand finals, but to be involved in a Great Britain side that goes on and does that was just a special day. And then one which is probably a little bit strange, it would be the second half in 2009 at Wigan when we played Australia. I think we was 26-0 down at half time, but then I think we did come back, and we nearly won the game. And I think that gave I saw a difference in a lot of the young players who played that day, because previously we've been hammered, in the World Cup in Melbourne, 56 points, and we got beat very badly in that first half, but we turned it around in that second half, and I could see the belief on some of the young players' faces change, that they knew they could beat the Australians and knew that the making of them, or the match of them. So that was kind of a good moment as well.
Was that a bit of a turning point for rugby league, English and British rugby league? Do you think that kind of turning point?
If it translates into victories in the World Cup, then yeah. But I think obviously you saw the way we went into that 2009 Four Nations final, then the Wembley game, and then again the Four Nations final. There is a belief amongst the players that we can beat Australia, but we need to put that into an actual victory now.
So 22 caps for England, 26 for Great Britain, I hope. Yeah. Are we going down the right track with England, in your opinion? Because you're kind of been there, done both from the inside. Are we going down the right track with England?
I think there needs to be room for Great Britain. I think England's a great concept, but there needs to be room for perhaps a Great Britain tour every 4 years. Once every 4 years we tour through Papua New Guinea. Maybe play one game in Papua New Guinea, one game Australia, one game in New Zealand, and one game in Fiji, and that's what it is. And Great Britain's, it's a special shirt that it's only out once every 4 years, and remains just above the England shirt. That's how I view it, and I think there is room within the schedule to do that. I think it's something that should be should be brought back.
Do you see yourself remaining involved with international rugby league in some form?
Yeah, definitely. I think me and Steve are talking about a role that I can do, and it's just about defining that at the moment. But obviously I don't think I'm not going to be involved this year or at the end of the year. I need to take a break away, I think, from England, but hopefully in 2013 I'll be involved with the squad.
And finally, you strike me as a kind of person who kind of lives and plays by a certain mantra. Is there anything you've kind of modelled your career on or played by?
I just always try to give my best. Every time I pull on the shirt, and particularly so with England, I've always tried to give my absolute best, and hopefully that's what I'll be remembered for. I hate losing, and I always want to try my best.